Welcome to Fiona's Food for Life YouTube channel, Cook, Eat, Nourish. I've got another interview lined up for you today. Make sure you listen to the end so you get their 3 tips to how you can cook today to become healthier. Please like and comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Hope you enjoy it. Hi Kathy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Fiona.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Would you mind introducing yourself to my audience?
Sure, I'm Kathy Whyte, the founder of Nurture Mum. Nurture Mum is all about developing healthy lives during the first 1,000+ days.
Wow, okay. And what is your career to date? What have you done to get here?
I have a background in healthcare. I
Okay.
started life as a nurse. I was then a midwife. I did a master's in nutritional medicine and many years in the pharmaceutical sector, running patient support programs, preventative health programs.
Great. And so why did you set up Nurture Mum?
Because I'm truly fascinated about the early origins of health and disease, and it's an area that's really untapped into. And it's really just to promote this message, translating the science, which there is an abundance, into public health. And it's the space I belong in, and it's I'm on a bit of a mission to really start to tell it and really developing healthier babies.
Okay, fantastic. So what services do you offer, or how does it work at Nurture Mum?
So we take any opportunity we can to talk to the relevant audience. So anybody who's thinking of having a baby in the future, that could be in a couple of years, it could be next year, it could be now. And we really bring that message in the workplace. So we work with companies like LinkedIn and Microsoft. We've done some lovely work with LinkedIn. Now they're big organizations, but we can also work with smaller organizations. Wherever there's an audience, maybe 5-10 people who are interested in this subject, and it's relevant to men and women. We know more and more that men have a role in preconception health, as well as mum in terms of health of the baby.
And so when you say we, it's all midwives, is that correct?
It's me, and then I have a couple of associates, but they would all have a very strong background in some in healthcare, similar to my own background, but in dietetics or nutrition.
So how does that work? So you're in, you're just got married, you're in a busy workplace. How do they access it? Is it a one-off talk, or is it how does it work?
So we would approach the workplace, they would organise it, they would promote our messaging, and when it is happening, typically it's a seminar. We like to do a series of seminars. So we'd like to start with an offering preconception, and then throughout pregnancy, and tips then for parents who are preparing for their new life, to make it as easy as possible, making informed choice about feeding. And then we encourage parents or companies to bring back their employees, maybe when they're on maternity leave, at maybe 3 or 4 months, so that we can talk about best practice weaning. And it also gives them an opportunity to build a network within their company or working place.
Okay, that's fascinating. And there's other places, so you do it in pharmacies as well?
Yeah, so really we're moving more and more into that space of actually educating the over-the-counter staff, so that when a mum or a lady or a person goes in and maybe they've been getting the pill for a year or 2, and then they say, actually I don't need that part of the prescription anymore, and then the person in the pharmacy can say, oh, are you thinking of a pregnancy? And they can start to really educate maybe around folic acid and being a healthy weight before pregnant, etc. So the things that really get them off to a good start in terms of their pregnancy journey and the health of the baby.
So it's really an educational piece that you run for the pharmacist, so
Absolutely.
rather than an individual calling into a pharmacy and getting to speak to you or anything like that.
Absolutely, we find that it works much better in groups. On a one-to-one, obviously it can be very time-taking, but we find that working in groups can be really supportive and collaborative. Like a recent session I did in LinkedIn, there was about 40 people at it. We were talking about preparing for your new life, as in most of the audience were men and women that were pregnant. And one of the employees stood up, a very shy lady, stood up and said that she had finally cracked breastfeeding on her 3rd baby, but she was there if anybody wanted support.
Okay.
So I just thought that was amazing. And they have an amazing setup in LinkedIn. They've what we call PAL, Parents at LinkedIn, so they have a very good infrastructure and network for mums and dads.
Fantastic. Okay. And so, am I right in saying that you did a master's in nutritional medicine, Kathy?
Yes, I did, in Surrey University in Guildford.
Tell me a bit about that.
It was amazing, and the one module that really stuck out was the one relating to pregnancy and early health. And during that time, I came across the work of Professor David Barker, who is probably the most renowned medical scientist of our time. I was fascinated with his work and his endeavours to understand how we develop healthy babies and healthy lives and reduce risk of childhood obesity, asthma, allergy, chronic disease later in life, including cardiovascular disease, stroke, etc. So I emailed him and asked him if I could travel to Southampton to meet him for a coffee. To my astonishment, he asked me to his house for lunch, which was in the New Forest. The train went there once a week.
Wow.
He was on the platform, I was on that train, and he was just an amazing man. Asked me why I travelled to Dublin, from Dublin, to see him. And basically, you know, I advised him that his work was amazing, but very little of it was in the public health arena.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be part of that messenger, part of the translator. And he wished me the very best of luck, gave me one of his books, The Early Origins of Health, signed it, and I went on my way, and sadly he died suddenly just 3 months later. But the good thing is I'm now in touch with his daughter, who's Professor of Psychology in Southampton also, and that has, her contact and connection with Professor David Barker has really taken me around the world.
Wow.
To DOHAD conferences, which is the Developmental Origins of Health and Disease. So it's David Barker's legacy. And most recently I was in Australia last November, just understanding again what's the current evidence science telling us around health and pregnancy. And I have big dreams for DOHAD in Canada in 21. We'll keep it under wraps for the moment.
I was just going to say, tell me about it.
I have a big dream for something I'd like to do in Ireland in terms of translating this work and doing something very meaningful in Ireland and showcasing then what we've done. So I've big ambitious plans for Canada 21.
Wow, watch that space.
Yes.
Okay. And so I was going to say what's next for you, but I suppose really that's the next thing for Nurture Mum, is this secret project, is that right? Or
yes, I wouldn't say it's secret, but there's a lot, you know, it's sort of work in progress at the moment, but it's really a big dream and a vision. And in the interim, I will continue to support the workplace, Nurture Mum at work, and Nurture Mum at pharmacy level, and then wellness events. I've spoken at Wellfest in the past. I've spoken down in Ballymaloe at their Literary Food Festival, and so I've done quite a lot of public speaking, and I actually really enjoy that when you get a very interactive audience rather than the tell-tale. You get it interactive. Yeah. And that's the space I belong, and just waking up people to really realise what they can do to promote the health of their baby and indeed maternal health and reducing risk of complication in pregnancy.
Okay, fascinating. And so I'm chatting to you today, I suppose, from the Nourish side of things. I do the Cook, Eat, Nourish, and it all begins at the very beginning, and I know I would talk a fair bit about the gut microbiome and the pregnant mother consuming fermented foods, etc., making sure her gut is in good health so that then the child can have a good start. But I always ask the people who I interview, can they give me 3 tips to help improve the health of the nation from their angle?
Sure.
So what 3 tips might you give to people you know, looking to start a family? Okay,
so pre-pregnancy weight for both mum and dad is really important. So we're really looking at a body mass index of less than 25.
Okay.
And that is one of the really important steps to take. And increasingly we know that dad's weight can influence weight of baby. The second one is folic acid, at least 16 weeks before pregnancy. And the latest evidence, I learned this in the last couple of weeks, that we now take folic acid. The recommendation is throughout pregnancy.
Wow, okay, because I remember when I had both my children, it was for the first 3 months was the guideline with the folic acid, but now it's
a recent update, very recent, but it's to take folic acid throughout pregnancy. So, and there is increasing evidence around the need for some mums to take a higher dose of folic acid.
Okay.
So the recommendation is they continue to take the antenatal dose of folic acid right to 12 weeks, and that everybody takes the lower standard dose of folic acid throughout pregnancy.
And how about breastfeeding then?
And then you continue, for breastfeeding mums, they continue to take folic acid to reduce the risk of anemia in the mum.
Okay, very good. So we have the weight, we have the folic acid, and what would your third one be?
Exercise.
Okay.
Yeah, 150 minutes recommended per week. And I tell you, as a nation, if we could do that, even if mums could achieve 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3 is ideal, we would change some of our abysmal statistics we have around child and maternal health.
And when you talk about that fitness and movement, are you talking all the way through pregnancy?
Absolutely. Now, I wouldn't start running marathons when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
But if you have been doing things and running and, you know, whatever you've been doing, most things you can continue during pregnancy. if you have considerations or concerns, obviously talk to your healthcare professional. But typically, the value of exercise in terms of maintaining a healthy weight gain during pregnancy, but we also know that the baby's heart health journey starts in pregnancy. So the more variability around the mum's heart rate, the better it is for the development of the new baby's heart.
Okay, fascinating. So one question I always ask as well is, what would you choose as your last meal?
It would have to
Death or no?
It would have to be an Indian.
Okay.
Yeah, I just love Indian food. I'm vegetarian.
Okay.
Have been for a long, long time. So I just find it's sort of the most vegetarian friendly food out there, and I just love it, and I love the spice and some dollop of yogurt on top of it and some fresh herbs, and that would be.
Any particular one?
Any particular?
Like a sag, or what type of Indian herb?
Vegetable boona.
Okay. What's that one?
It's tomato based.
Yeah.
And it's just divine. It can be made up of anything. And I have my special location of a place in Dublin where it's my favourite, and I've been going for 20 years, and they don't even actually offer me a menu anymore.
Right. Say that to me again. It's what's it called? The boona.
A vegetable boona.
Boona. Okay. I haven't looked into that one, so I must check that out. Would you have anything to drink with that?
Yes, it would. It would depend whether I had my car or not.
Well, you're not going anywhere afterwards, so you don't have to worry about your car.
Yeah. So I'd always enjoy maybe a glass of white wine with it. If not, I'm very happy with sparkling water with lots of lemon.
Okay. And would you go for any dessert?
Not a dessert person.
Okay.
No, desserts don't, and particularly not in an Indian restaurant. I mean, there's a couple of things, but I'm not really big into dessert.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Would you mind telling my audience now how they can get in touch with you if they'd like to hear more about Nurture Mum? I think it's definitely going to be a space to watch, but off you go.
Sure. So it's Kathy with a K at nurturemum.ie, and my contact number is 08628 66149, and my website is nurturemum.ie.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kathy, and best of luck.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching today's video with Kathy from Nurture Mum. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos, and like and comment below. And why not check out some of my other videos, like the vegan bolognese, or perhaps some of the interviews, like the recent interview with Dorina Allen. Thanks a million. See you soon.